Hello, everyone. You are welcome to your program, Talking Point Show. I'm still your regular host, Onigbide Raphael. Today, we'll be talking about the pros and cons of the major presidential candidates for the next coming election. Um, Today, it's going to be a discussion between a journalist, Rachel Roberts, and I also have a legal practitioner in the house. That's Barrister Adedayo Aborishade. Um, Rachel, you are welcome to the program, please.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Uh, so, Barrister Dayo, you are welcome.
For bringing me here today. Thank you.
Okay, that's nice. Okay. There have been a lot of things that has been going on. We've been seeing campaigns, as usual. The presidential candidates have been giving different promises here and there. But the purpose of this show today is just to talk about the advantages of each of them and then the disadvantages of each of them. Because the thing is, we should not run away from reality. When we actually vote any of them in, we should expect some advantage, and we should also look out for the disadvantage. So now, how do we cope? Because we just had the current president. We have, I want to believe, we had the advantage and the disadvantage. So how are we able to cope? So now we are ready to make another decision now. So let's start with Peter Obi. The slogan obedience. Obedience. So okay, let me start with Barrister Dayo. Like, for you, what do you have to say about Obi? Like what do you think that, okay, if this guy actually becomes the next Nigerian president, okay, what are the things we should look at as a positive things that we expect from him, and again, what are those negativity that we should, like, come on, we can't run away from this.
Okay. Permit me to appreciate you once again, Mr. Raphael,
Yeah.
for your decision to add value to our society. I pray that God will continue to you true and true. As I said, there's a need for us to consider the activities of all the candidates. Considering the antecedent of this kind, they can do. What have they done? What can they do? And as you have said, let's talk about Obi. And Obi was the governor of Anambra State. He was governor of Anambra State for 8 years, and is a trader par excellence. Is into trade and commerce, and I must say that in that sector is okay. One of the qualities of Peter Obi is that he knows how to cut down the cost of governance. He knows how to cut down the cost of governance. What am I talking about? One of our problems in Nigeria is when you see our leaders spending so much. For example, sending people to pilgrimage, send people to Jerusalem with the government money, sending people to, what's it called, Mecca, Saudi Arabia, with the government money, as in changing cars, official cars, often and often, and these cannot but, as in, cause us pain as a nation. But when you're talking about Peter Obi is a very prudent leader. I must say that he's a very prudent leader. He knows how to cut down cost of governance, and in so doing, that really in government coffers in Anambra State. Secondly, I've gone through is what's it called? Is a first point. title is Nigeria, pact with Nigeria. The fact that he wants to move Nigeria from consumption to production. From consumption to production. And though I have little reservation for him there, because I asked myself again, why is it one of those that imports goods into Nigeria? This is against his position as to consumption, moving Nigeria from consumption to production. So I believe strongly, as a prudent leader, that he will be able to cut down the cost of governance. I think that is what I have to say about Peter Obi for now.
Okay.
That will be all, Mr. Raphael.
Okay. So what do you think Nigeria should expect as a disadvantage of Peter Obi? Because there's no how good he is going to be. We'll definitely have some bad side of him.
Ways to establish the nation. It's diverse as in tribes. If Peter Obi, we all know how Jonathan was frustrated as president of Nigeria. We all know how he was frustrated. As in, Nigeria is too big, they will frustrate Peter Obi. They will really frustrate him. I believe he's a very good man. He has what it takes to be Nigeria president. But, you know, Nigeria and let me say the political sector of Nigeria is too crazy. It's too crazy to deal with. Number one, are we sure that he love him gender not? Because someone that belongs to the north. When you are talking about commerce, you mention both. Distance. When we are talking about you can make mention of what's it called? Southwest. That is how. The question is, do we really want to have a good country? Many of them, they want to be in charge, and if you are not ready to give in, I'm telling you, they will frustrate you.
Okay, thank you, Barrister Dayo. Okay, let's hear from Rachel. So, what do you have to say? What do you think are the advantages of Obi?
Okay, first of all, I think the very first question we have to ask is what makes each of these candidates advantageous? What brings them, what sets them apart from every other person? And personally, this is my own personal opinion, I can't really pin down what the advantages of the are. Last time I have mentioned some of the things we wanted to do, or we want to be changed to do when we president. But the challenge is that there's a lot of we will and less of this is how we will do it. It's one thing to say this is what you want to do, and another thing to tell me as a citizen that okay, this is how I intend to achieve whatever it is I have said I want, whatever it is my manifesto as a candidate. So I think that I personally cannot see that for me, what would have been the focal point or the deciding factor in whether these advantages of Peter will be or not would have been if he's able to explain how he can achieve every single thing that he intends to do. For the 2015 general elections, we had the same similar thing. Was things were hard, not as hard as this, but another time it was a new kind of hard to every single night. Not crying out loud and saying, no, this is the end, we want change, we want blah, 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 blah. And when people supported President Muhammad Buhari, he wasn't the president at the time, but the question I kept asking then was, how does he intend to do this? Yes, okay, you have 700 cows in Daura, you have 2 houses, you are the face of integrity, you want to naira to you want to feed school children once per day. But the question, again, how do you intend to achieve it? At the time, Buhari was based on Nigeria was in the right place. And we didn't have so much debt, but then we still have a number of debts that you can say, okay, how do you intend to achieve it? And I remember at the time, close to the time of elections like this in 2015, there was a general strike in January 2015, just before the elections, because the price of fuel had just from naira to 197 naira. And there was general strike both in the private and public sector. And everybody was like, no, we cannot take this. This is so harsh. People didn't know what was coming. So the question for me was, how they intend to achieve this? I've watched many of their interviews. I've watched Peter Obi's interviews. I've watched Mohammed's interview. That's the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. And every single one of those interviews is just an answer of we will. How do you intend to end insecurity? We will. And it just reflects the same traits as it did in 2015. Because now people are saying, oh, they don't want to reveal their plans because this is what is going to happen. When you look at it, and in 2015, that was the same thing Buhari did. Oh, we don't want to reveal our plans because they're going to steal it. Eventually, we found out there was no plan. So I personally cannot put down any single advantage of Peter Obi. It's all just promises like the rest of the other candidates. Not the rest, not all of them actually, because there are other candidates that may not be on your list, Raphael, your list of major presidential, but there are other candidates that have explained how they intend to achieve like 90% of the promises that they have made. And you can really reason with them that, okay, if they do this way and do this way and do this way, that is an advantage of a presidential candidate for me.
Wow. You've really spoken at length. I also hope that some of this our conversation will not bring hatred for some of us, for the fans of some of these candidates. Because for me, I feel like sorry, you're saying something?
Okay. So, yeah, I'm not afraid of them coming at me. That's how they did in 2015. I followed 2015 general elections nitty-gritty. I did not vote because I did not have a voter card at the time, but I followed it to the core. I supported the other guy. I did not support the current president, the incumbent. That's the truth. And they came for me. I had adults, people who were old enough to be my father, telling me that, oh, you are just a religious bigot and all of those. I had many words, so there's nothing really special about it. The truth is the truth, whether we like it or not.
Okay, well, let me just drop my own point to these things. Actually, for me, I'm not even against any of the candidates, but I'm just trying to look at, their disadvantages too, so that we should just look at those things. For me, for Obi, I feel that Nigerians will really realize that we think this guy is a stingy guy, because I think Nigerians, we are used to, spend anyhow, especially when it comes to government parastatals, because he just release money, spend on this, spend on that. At the end of the day, we look at it that what's the excess of this spending. But trust me, if Peter Obi eventually becomes Nigerian president, some of those things, before you go for those spendings, I think maybe you need to give 1,001 reasons why these expenses have to fly. So, I think we should just watch that. We should just watch out for that. So let's just move on. Okay, now I want to talk about this person now, Sowore. I want to talk concerning Omoyele Sowore. For me, I look at him that is a kind of person that has the youthful zeal, that he is looking at it that these are the things that is wrong in Nigeria, and he wants to put all those things in place. That is my view about him. But I also look at it that some of the disadvantages that can be his weakness is his approach to some of those things. I'm feeling like the way youths do things, some things are to be done systematically, procedures, but I feel that I think I just need to step on toes. Whether I want to go, you go. All those things. And I felt some of this may not just work like that. Some of this may not just work like that. So I don't know. Rachel, I don't know what do you have to say about Showore?
For me personally, I think Omoyele Sowore is a kind of tricky case that really place your hand on it major things. I've listened to some of his interviews and I've seen some of the things he has promised to do. I personally believe economically strategies definitely not work, but politically it might work. Although it might take, if Sowore is going to be successful as a good president of the country, politically, it's going to be like a tiny bit of tyranny, or did I say dictatorship? Dictatorship should the word. If he can put his feet to the ground and say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want people to do, this is how I want to run the country. He might be able to be successful in that regard. But that's what he wants to do, some of the things he intends to do when it comes to the economy, and I don't know how possible that he's promising 100,000 naira minimum wage and all of that, and we know how much debt the country is in. So I don't know how possible things are, but for somebody who has experienced tyranny, who has been subjected to being in the prison just for his basic human rights and asking for resolution. He might not, I don't know, people change, but he might get there and say, okay, I'm going to allow people to speak up. And when you have a country where people are able to speak up, people can express themselves and say, this is the country, this is what we do, then it definitely be a major focus. I'm going to go back to but I mean, better than in 2015 general elections. But I mean, it was also a good option in so way. 2015, we observed that the 2015, we did love Jonathan's 4 years and 2 years, let's just say 6 years as a president. To see it was possible for people to speak up in the little way he allowed it. I think he could have done better in that. And that led to the national confab of 2014. National confab came in late towards the end of his administration. So he couldn't really fulfill the confab. Now, many of the things that happened in the confab were suggestions of Nigeria, like it's not people from the National Assembly or people from government house in Oyo State or Borno State. People basic civil disagree with just ethics. So if we show experience under the Buhari-led government, the APC-led government, it might allow people to speak up more and question his government, criticize his government. If he does that, he probably will be able to see what is right and what, and it would make the entire country achieve what is needed. But the disadvantages, like I said, are just the economical part. I don't agree with how he intends to achieve some of the things he has promised locally. They do not seem possible to me. Although I'm not an economist, but just with my job, I just many of those.
Well, that is just your view about him. Okay, it's fine. Everybody to their own opinion. So, Barrister Dayo, what do you have to say concerning Showore?
I don't have much to say about him. So I know him to be, he was a junior leader or president, as it were, in University of Lagos. I know him to be an activist. I know him to be investigative journalist. And he has done so much. He fought against the military in the 90s when they were, doing a lot of things, unconstitutional things. He stood his ground. I know that. But as I said, I made mention of the fact that we need to consider the antecedent of all the leaders. The question, what has he done? What has he done as a presidential candidate? You understand? And, if I have my way, I would have advised him to start from maybe House of Rep or Senate or maybe governorship. He should go back to Ondo and join a
Mm.
war there. He
That
should
means you
prove
should,
at
you should
that
start from the
level.
grassroots.
Yes, he should start from the grassroots. You can't just come from anywhere and tell us that you want to lead us by going to the TV stations, saying a lot of things that you can do this. Anyone can go to as a media house and as and give wonderful presentation of his program. But the question is, can you deliver? What have you
Fantastic.
done before? That is the question. Assuming we ask this question from Buhari 2015, I'm sure Nigeria would not be where we are today. In the 80s, when Buhari was state, he was messing this country up then. When what's it called? Tunde Idiagbon was the vice president. Tunde Idiagbon was the one making major decisions, and he was the one making things as in work for Nigeria as a nation then. Buhari was doing nothing. Assuming we asked that question 2015, I'm sure nobody would have voted for Buhari. So we should ask that question. We should write it down. Nobody can give what he does not have. You understand what I mean? You can't
Of
give
course,
what you
of
don't
course.
have. So yes, Nigeria is not a SUG. It's not, I'm sorry to speak Yoruba, it's not SUG, it's not student union. It's not student union. You can't just come and say this and this, you're into activism, you fought this, you fought that, you ran away, you came back, you've been to prison so many times, you fought for democracy, we know how to do this, we know how to do that, but the question is, have you done it before? So my point still remain my point that we should consider their, what's it called, antecedents strictly. And anyways, I must commend the program for Nigeria. We need to commend him for that. But truly, as my sister rightly said, most of those things, I'm not sure if they are achievable. It won't be that easy. It won't be that easy. So that's what I have to say about Shore. And my advice for him is to go back to Ondo State. Should start from maybe, let's say, Senate or House of Rep. This contest is beyond him, and I'm not. In fact, I'm so sorry, sir. With due respect to him, you said the pros and cons of the major presidential candidate issue is not part of the major presidential candidate. With due respect
Fantabulous.
to him,
Wow, wow.
he's not part of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I want to react to that with what you said. Let me start from the last one, which is to where is the major president. I think personally that that's one of the problems in this country. We're not willing to accept that and see that people are willing to see as a right to be voted for as a citizen. And from my own research and what I've experienced so far with politics in Nigeria, even if you start as House of Rep member or governor or whatever, so look at all those that what has come out of every single one of them? You end up becoming the monster. If we have not anything in this country, that's like every person wants into office and so I want to change this country and go and start with the local government or probably the governorship situation or the House of Reps or the Senate. In the end, they end up becoming worse than the people that they have criticized. Not because some of them just want to turn bad or anything, but I think that they get into power, they see how things are. They see the reality and they realize that, oh no, this is not what we imagined. So they say, okay, let's just continue and just go with the flow. One thing I've learned is that Nigeria, it's not even one thing I've learned, it's the fact that Nigeria is a federal state. And the fact that Nigeria is a federal state, it is clear that true power lies in the presidency. You cannot do anything. You cannot make this country great again by first becoming governor or whatever. It doesn't work that way. For example, Peter Obi was once a governor, yes, but I don't have him experience enough to run to become a president. Being a president in Nigeria is a different ball game. The difference between president and governorship is very wide.
Mm.
It's largely wide. And governor in Nigeria, to me, I could say, okay, in the US, for example, a governor is come for president, it's like, but being a governor in the US is you get as much as being a president because you can do law, you can do certain things, you can make a lot of decisions as a governor. But in Nigeria, it doesn't work that way. Many of the decisions are at the federal level. Even the governors do not have a
Okay, I think you have really spoken at length concerning Obi. Yeah, great. So actually, I just wanted to move very fast. Yeah. So okay, I will still start with you, but to be very fast now. Okay, now let's move to Atiku. Okay, well, for me, Atiku Abubakar, fantabulous. Well, I just feel that okay, if Atiku should become the Nigerian president, I feel okay, businesses should move. That's my expectation, that businesses should move. But this is my concern. Many things have been said, issue of corruption, this, that, some funds being mismanaged, and some stories about him. So, does those things change? Will those things change? Do we expect those things to change? That's just the question. Because everybody keeps, Atiku can do it because he has the money. People were asking, those money that we claim that he has, where did he get them from? How did he acquire them? Yes, he has business, this and that. So how do we expect a different Atiku that okay, we will not be having corruption, mismanagement of fund, and the likes? So that's just so. Rachel, let me start with you on that. What's your point on that?
Okay, about Atiku, I think Atiku is a good candidate. Many people may not agree with me. I'm trying to be as analytical and critical as possible here, without any sentiments of whether it belongs to PDP or APC. Although those are very important, valid reasons for anybody not to want to vote some kind. But I want to decide and look at him as a person and what he has in plan for Nigeria. And I think his mantra so far has been, not I think actually, has been privatization. About privatization, specializing all the 700 local government areas in the country, so that every single country. Now that's a good plan if you look at it on the surface. But like you said, history will always be history. You can't take that out. And who has been the former vice president of the nation before now, there's a lot of witch hunting going on around him. But then you ask yourself, would privatization really work for Nigeria? Really the best way to go? I do not think so because of the way we are wired in this country. I feel like Atiku may be trying to replicate what's going on in the United States of America and make it happen in Nigeria, which is that in the there are only two government agencies, that's the US and the military. Those are the civil servants that the US has. Every other person, public servant, private, every other person, private companies or public servants. These people or two groups are civil servants, USPS, army, or do I say the soldiers, or maybe local officers or whatever. Trying to replicate that, but not necessarily work because of the way of why I had one. Nigeria has gone too far invested in civil service that we go back. What we need would be discipline in the civil service. Also, work with the NNPC and all those other big groups where people are gulping in public money without listening. But one is an advantage to some part of the economy. But through privatization, I I do not agree with it. Then I
Okay.
think another advantage is experience as former vice president.
Okay, so let me quickly jump to Barrister Dayo. So what do you have to say on Atiku?
Anyways, he was the vice president 1999 to 2007. He's a man of experience. Atiku is a man of experience. I must say that he had seen it all. He was there, and I got to know that he brought the likes of Okojo-Iweala, the former Minister for Finance. He brought El-Rufai, the former Minister of FCT. So if we see this individuals, they are very intelligent. Look at Okojo-Iweala, very deep when it comes to as a knowledge of
Finance.
economy. And yeah, finance is very deep. It's very deep. We can't take that away from her. So I believe strongly that is a good candidate. Is a good candidate, and he cannot but add value to Nigeria, regardless his flaws when he was in office. Because I don't know, allegedly this year stole his money for what's it called, the power. You understand, under Obasanjo. And, Obasanjo in his book, My Watch, raised so many allegations against Atiku Abubakar that is a very corrupt person, this and that he stole a lot of money under his watch. And till today, till now, Atiku Abubakar has not, hasn't tried his best to defend himself. He should at least come out and say that no, I didn't steal any money. Yeah, that's number one. Number two, there was a time when we talk about privatization. It's very good, as she rightly said. That is the way forward in this country. It will boost our economy. There won't be delay in decision making, and the policies will be executed as fast as possible. But there was a time he said he was going to sell NNPC. He sell NNPC to his friends. You understand? So, to me personally, some people, some private individuals will be enriched, and this may affect as a whole. So that is my take. That's my take, and I think that is all about Atiku Abubakar.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, I want to quickly talk about Tinubu. So, in fact, I don't even know what to say because, well, let me assume that Tinubu has the experience. He has the experience to be in governance, but as far as I'm concerned, I think there are too many disadvantage around him that it makes someone like me feel scared, like, can I give my vote to Tinubu? Because what this is saying, what that is saying, even in Lagos State, like, am I going to shy away from it that no, they are just formulating stories that those things cannot happen? I don't know. Barrister Dayo, I don't know if you feel the same way.
Anyways, let me quickly say this. The major disadvantage that Tinubu has today as a presidential candidate is the fact that APC as a party has disappointed Nigerians. So, and that is really working against him. We look at the state of our economy, things are not working the way they're supposed to work. So, coming on the same platform of that same party, people will ask questions that, are you not one of them?
Exactly.
I think that is the major issue that he has.
And he
Be
cannot tell
that
us
as
that
it may,
he's not one of the
yes,
major policy maker in the party. So
he brought Buhari. Yeah. And yes, he brought Buhari. I must tell you, you know that I have affiliation with this guy. I have affiliation with him. But what I would say is that, like now in Oyo State, I am going for individual. I'm voting for individual. We have PDP in Oyo State. We have APC in Oyo State, and we have another party called Accord Party. So now, what I'm doing personally is to pick. I have some candidates in Accord Party. I have in PDP. I have in APC. So I go for individual. I don't go for political party. As a lawyer, there was a time I was invited by the Labour Party chairman Oyo State, and he was going to give my firm a brief. He asked us to take to court the national president of Labour Party, accusing that he collected bribe from a candidate in Oyo State. This is the same Labour Party where Peter Obi is, and Peter Obi has been tagged Mr. Saint. Are you getting what I'm talking about?
of course,
That same party, we have some bad people there. Look, Okupe was accused. They said he was given 25 million naira to share in Oyo State during the rally, but he shared 5 million naira, a pocket million naira. He's also a member of Labour Party. You see a lot of bad things about APC, but we have some governors doing we can see what he's doing there in Medigui. He's performing greatly. He's of APC. We have Sheyi Makinde in Oyo State. People don't know what he's doing. There's no project at all aside bus terminal. He gave. Okay, we have a free education, the education development. Wike has done. He has done so much. He's in PDP, and some people will still say bad things about PDP. If you look at what's it called, Dr. Ganduje, the governor of Kano State, when you are talking about socio-economic growth, he's trying his best. He's a member of APC. So I think the most important thing for us all is to consider individual. We should consider individual, not the political party. Like when we talk about Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State for 8 years. Good. People said a lot of things that is corrupt. In law, we refer to that defamatory statement. When you say some things that lacks justification, when you say some things that lacks what we can refer to as truth. If I've not been punished for anything, you can't refer to me as, hey, you are a thief, you are a thief. Have I been indicted? No. Number two, what I will say about Tinubu, I will base it on that Lekki Free Trade Zone. 2003, I got to know recently that he traveled to China to understudy their free trade zone in China. And after that, he decided that, okay, let us make Lekki the free trade zone for Lekki. And today, I've been to Lekki more than 5 times in this year. We have Lekki Deep Sea Port there. Lekki Deep Sea Port was commissioned recently by President Muhammadu Buhari, and Lagos State is owning that Lekki Free Trade Zone for 40 years. And it will be generating nothing less than $250 million for Lagos State government. Lagos State government is the fourth, I don't know, largest economy in Africa. Is the fourth large economy in Africa. Do they even need allocation from the state? When he was the president, when he was the governor, he met the revenue of that state, 600 million naira. And then he was having issue with Obasanjo. Obasanjo was not paying him allocation for 3 years.
Okay, so on
Of course,
Tinubu, so
who
what do you
wouldn't
have
have?
to say?
It's impossible to have nothing to say when it comes to Tinubu. I think the advantage of Tinubu is authenticity. That's the authenticity of many of the claims he has made in terms of working on Lagos. And I see that the barrister was itemizing some of the things Tinubu achieved with Lagos State. But history has shown that many of those things were already planned long before Tinubu even became governor and before Sanwo-Olu even dreamt of becoming governor. And most of these things, the Lagos, the free trade zones, are things that have been envisaged long, long ago and just being implemented by individual governments as they come into power. So the other challenge is health, and that's another major disadvantage that Tinubu has candidate for presidency. His health and probably his age. I don't know which one is contradicting this, but it seems that there's some kind of disagreement with age and his health at the moment. Also, disadvantage is the one by some which that is under the APC. And Tinubu's campaign has run under the idea that, okay, he turned Lagos to whatever it is right now. He can't even write it on the presidency on APC, whose flag is carrying. I don't know how that is supposed to work because it has divided against the state like this. And now, however, Tinubu has an advantage, which is not that he's experienced, like he said, but I think he has the advantage of.
Let me just call it a wrap on the show because we've really talked at length on the show. So I want to say we will leave it to Nigerians to decide who they feel should do justice to whatever they are looking for in the country, that the kind of change they are really looking towards to have. So from our own perspective, we've tried to say what we feel concerning some of these candidates, and it's not for us to decide for them what they will do if they eventually become the president. So we will just pray unto God that whoever is going to become the next president should do justice to what the masses are actually looking towards. So at this point, I want to say a very big thank you to you, Rachel, for coming on the show, and for Barrister Adedayo Aborishade. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we draw the curtain of the show today. We hope you join us next time to discuss with us and to drop your comments on our platform so we can have more understanding of the society and how we can make the society a better place for each and every one of us to live. Thank you so much. Till we meet next time. Thank you.